Music blared from the cracked speakers in Sarah's car as she crept slowly down the familiar but unwelcome street. She hated this neighborhood. Unlike her own block, where every house looked like it had been copy-pasted from a developer's blueprint, this street was chaotic in its age and decay. The houses varied in size and shape, many beaten by time. Some were clearly uninhabitable. Boarded-up windows, shattered porches, and sun-bleached "no trespassing" signs. Signs scattered like warnings across dying lawns. But she'd been here more times than she could count. Jonathan's house was at the far end of the street, the last one before the woods swallowed the pavement. It stood out in subtle defiance of its surroundings. While still run down, it was the best-kept house on the block. A single-bedroom home painted a dull brown with a porch that had seen better days. The moment Sarah walked out of the Hudson's house, she didn't hesitate. Her gut told her to go straight to Jonathan. Memories surged as she drove, the late nights in Sammy's room, curled up on the floor, laughing, drinking from a bottle swiped from her father's stash. Sammy's voice, dreamy and glowing, echoing with plans of escape. Seattle, that was always the dream. Sarah remembered that night vividly. Sammy's eyes glittered in the dim glow of her pink neon nightlight. They sat crisscrossed on the floor, their knees touching, a shared warmth of dreams and secrets hanging between them. Seattle, Sammy had said, handing Sarah the bottle. That's where we're going. It's perfect. Big music scene, gorgeous views, and Jonathan could get a gig every night if he wanted. Why Seattle? Sarah had asked, hiccuping behind her hand. Because it's beautiful, and I want my life to finally feel like mine. I wish I could come, Sammy grinned. Why don't you? We can get an apartment. Me, you, and Jonathan. You could be my roommate. Come to the shows, maybe even meet your own drummer. Sarah had rolled her eyes, laughing. I'm not looking for a guy, not until I've got my career locked down. I just hope, she continued, holding the bottle with both hands, when I do fall, it's a love like yours. They sat in silence then, stifling giggles as shadows moved under the door. Her father's footsteps. A flash of tension ran through both girls. Sammy whispered, He said he's going to marry me after college. Their hands clutched each other, gleaming with the glow of girlhood dreams, just before the door slammed open and her father's voice cut through everything. That memory felt like a lifetime ago. Now, as Sarah parked the car on the street in front of Jonathan's house, her heart was pounding. She wasn't sure if it was relief, dread, or exhaustion. Maybe all three. She imagined walking inside to find Sammy curled up on the couch, tear-streaked and small, with Jonathan holding her close, promising everything would be okay. She killed the engine, got out, and made her way up the cracked sidewalk. Each step felt heavier than the last. The porch groaned under her weight. The screen door squeaked. She hesitated, took a breath, and knocked. Yeah? Jonathan's voice echoed from inside, rough and indifferent. When he opened the door, smoke billowed out like it had been waiting for escape. The scent of weed was unmistakable. He looked surprised, but tilted his head toward the inside in a lazy motion, signaling her to come in. Jonathan looked the same, tall, rail-thin, with long dark hair that hung past his shoulders. He wore his usual band tee and jeans, like he had for the past 3 years. On the couch sat another guy, Derek. Sarah remembered him from school, though not clearly. He'd either been a year ahead or dropped out entirely. Derek lounged like he lived there, one leg slung over his knee, a black beanie hiding his hair. A faint tattoo peeked from under his jawline. The house was a mess. No surprise there. Furniture that looked like it had been picked off the side of the road filled the small room. Empty cans, fast food wrappers, and a bong sat proudly on the coffee table. Sarah tried to ignore the sinking feeling that crept into her gut. "I want to talk to Sammy," she said flatly. Jonathan raised an eyebrow as he reached for the bong, taking a deep inhale before choking out a laugh. "She's not here." "Bullshit. She's hiding out here. Just tell me where she is." Jonathan's smile faded. "Pudson came by yesterday. She's not here. Haven't seen her." "Just tell me where she's at. I know what's going on. I know about the abortion." Derek's eyes snapped wide open. Jonathan's head slowly turned toward her. He set the bong down with unsettling calm. His voice lowered, a dark edge slicing through his words. "What abortion?" Sarah froze. Her stomach dropped. "You didn't know?" she whispered. Jonathan stood silent for a moment, eyes drilling into hers. "Tell me," he said, voice tight. "Back in May, she got pregnant. Her dad forced her to end it. I thought she'd run off to be with you. I thought you two were leaving for Seattle together." He blinked once, then twice. His expression was unreadable. Then a hollow laugh escaped his chest. "That effing liar," he said with a smirk. Sarah recoiled. "What? Why would you say that?" "We didn't even hook up until after May. If she was pregnant before that, it wasn't mine." "She loved you. She told me all the time." "She lied. Everyone said she was messing around behind my back. I didn't believe them. Guess I was the idiot." Sarah stepped forward, fists clenched. She wasn't messing around. Maybe if you weren't high all the time, you'd see how much she cared. Jonathan snorted. "You think I'm the junkie? Sammy did harder stuff than I ever touched." Sarah's voice cracked. "What do you mean?" "Get out," Jonathan barked, suddenly rising to his feet. He stormed to the door, swung it open. "I'm done with this crap." Sarah stood frozen for a breath, then stormed past him, slamming the door behind her. The porch groaned again, and she screamed, loud and raw, stomping her foot so hard it nearly went through a rotting plank. She marched to her car, threw the door open, and slammed it shut. Music blasted as soon as she turned the key, but it couldn't drown out the thoughts whipping through her mind. Sammy wasn't there. Jonathan didn't know about the pregnancy. He wasn't the father. Sammy had secrets, more than Sarah realized. And now, there were even more questions than answers. She floored the gas. She needed a drink. Thankfully, she still wasn't late for work.